Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Ask Better Questions. I'm your host Peter Adams, and for those of you who are new here, I have over 20 years experience in leadership and consulting. I'm a published author in this space, and my mission is to help excellent leaders become exceptional leaders through a better mindset. So in today's episode of Ask Better Questions, we ask the question, has leadership failed us? Heavy topic, but before we get into the topic and the episode today, I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsor, Colour4 Solutions. Colour4 Solutions offer leadership training for people who have reached a ceiling in their leadership journey and want to achieve more without dedicating substantial time and effort. Check them out in the links in the description. So one of the key questions we need to ask is whether leaders have failed business by prioritizing issues, particularly social issues and other things, over their primary responsibilities. Now, I understand this can be an emotionally charged topic, and it can be quite polarizing. Now, it's crucial to recognize the importance of social responsibility, and I want to emphasize that before we even start. However, the challenges arise when leaders prioritize those values without a clear understanding of how it may affect the long-term viability of the business. To better understand this, let's look at a few case studies where companies went, for lack of a better term, woke and faced unforeseen challenges. From marketing missteps to internal cultural conflicts, these instances raise the question, did the pursuit of social justice compromise the core objectives of these businesses? Spoiler alert here, yeah, they did. The clearest one in this instance is Bud and Bud Brewing. So Bud Beer decided that they were going to attempt to branch out into, I guess, a trans awareness beer. The difficulty being their primary demographic was not that demographic. So in so doing, they actively created a campaign around an influencer that was not their core demographic and ostracized their key demographic. This happened very, very quickly and very, very publicly. And rather than come out one way or the other, they decided they would ride this out, thinking it will all blow over. It did not. It was not good. It was not the entire business and not the entire culture of the business that made this change. It was a very, very small section of the company, and very few people were involved in that section of the company, being the marketing department. And they have actively destroyed billions of dollars worth of value at this point. But that's not the only company that I'll be covering off today. So Disney and its subsidiaries are in the entertainment industry. Now, it's been widely known that in recent years, they have prioritized messaging over actually telling compelling stories. And this has been a relatively development. And whilst this is not a Disney-centric thing, it's certainly produced and more pronounced at Disney. The industry as a whole has shifted away from compelling storytelling in favor of lazy writing and race and gender swapping characters. When I say lazy writing, I mean poor quality writing by inexperienced writers. This is not something that is a value judgment. This is something widely accepted within the industry. There have been very junior people promoted to very senior roles. Whilst books could be written on this subject, and likely will be, billions of dollars of value and goodwill with audiences has been squandered, and countless billions more lost at the box office. And it is interesting that post-COVID audiences have stayed away from cinema for the large part. However, some movies have still managed large successes, notably the Top Gun sequel Maverick, and even the Barbie movie, showing that well-written movies will still attract an audience. Now, I say all of this to bring to bear the fact that clarity and knowing what it is that people do at a business and what it is the business exists to do is key. This is why the first unit of our free training course is clarity, is making sure that the entire business is clear on what it does and what it's supposed to do, what it exists to do. Now, I began my career in a workplace where people did not bring their true selves to work, and this is neither a good nor a bad thing. This is just how things were. It was an accepted trope. People who did bring their true selves to work would likely have themselves in a meeting with HR and have all sorts of harassment, sexual or otherwise, allegations leveled against them, and they would be managed out of the business. That is to say, in today's day and age, we work in a workplace or workplaces that have pronouns and safe spaces and the like, which is a very different workplace and doesn't lean towards an easier way to lead. It makes for a workplace that is confrontational in nature or bland. And blandness is very difficult to lead because it's very difficult to get people enthusiastic about it. So that is to say, today's day and age, the importance of teamwork is second only to being clear on what you do as a company. So getting back to that clarity, your business, do they sell stories? Do they sell fuel? Do they deliver fuel? Do they sell financial services? What is it that you provide that is your compelling reason for existence? And a lot of business struggle with this, and a lot of the marketing team will tell you what they solve. So, for instance, if you sell stories, you may sell the escapism. If you sell or deliver fuel, you may actually sell the freedom, and that is the destinations that the fuel will get you to. If you sell financial services, you are also really selling freedom from stress or worries in the future. So how can leaders navigate this fine line between social responsibility and ensuring business success? Is it possible to strike a balance between promoting a socially conscious image and making decisions that benefit the company and its stakeholders? Well, the hypothesis is that there is no balance to strike. Social issues are always secondary to the overall objective of the business and are a key component in creating an environment where your team thrive, which is the definition of leadership, at least as we say it here. Your job as a leader is to create an environment where your team thrive. If that is creating an environment where pronouns are paramount, then so be it. If that's an environment where you are purely focused on what it is that you do day to day, so be it. If that is focused on customers, fantastic. If that is focused on the staff themselves and getting the most out of the staff themselves, that is the recommended way of providing leadership, is focusing on your staff and making sure they have what they need to do their role at the company. So as we wrap up today's episode, it's important to reiterate that asking better questions doesn't mean dismissing the value of social responsibility. Instead, it encourages leaders to critically examine the potential consequences of their decisions on their business, their employees, and the broader community. Remember, our goal here is to foster dialogue and promote a deeper understanding of the challenges that businesses faced in today's complex landscape. But our goal here is primarily to create the environment where your team thrive and your businesses thrive from your team thriving. So thank you again for joining us on Ask Better Questions. I'm Peter Adams, and until next time, keep asking those questions.